It's really lovely to see loads of familiar faces that we know so well, and also some new faces that we don't know so well. So a big warm welcome to everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I like to talk a lot, but tonight I have to shut up because Dennis is doing the talking. And for those who do know me, you know that's going to be very difficult. My name is Cindy Holmes. I'm the director of the School of Intuition and Healing. I love these evenings. I love it when people share their knowledge, their wisdom, just a really warm welcome to each and every one of you. But also a warm welcome to Dennis. Dennis and I have walked a path together, from photography to filming videos to facilitating to being tutors together, to being tutor-student together. So we have a long history. Dennis has a lot of experience. He's walked a spiritual journey for a long time in his life, which I'm not going to go into. He might mention some of that himself, but really, for me, Dennis, I'm excited about this evening. I'm looking forward to getting a few tips, because definitely the world in which we're living right now is one that is quite fear-based. The media is quite fear-based. The elections are quite fear-based around the world. So I'm really looking forward to, as we find a way to thrive, even though it seems like a challenging time in the world. So a big welcome to you. This is now where I shut up, put my mute button on, although you're not in control of it. Just a quick few housekeeping things, everybody, is that we will take Q&A. Also, Dennis will ask for you to put your experiences in the chat. I will manage the chat, which hopefully will keep me quiet. And yeah, please ask any questions that of interest you've got from Dennis in the chat. We'll try and get to those during the course of the evening, if not at the end. So please share your experiences, connect with us. Our hearts are open, our ears are open. And Dennis, it's now time to mute myself. Enjoy the evening, everybody.
Thank you, Cindy. It's really lovely to see some faces that I know here so well. So just a quick shout out to Lisa. Hi there, Naomi, Candice. Thanks for joining. Lovely to see you. And a warm welcome to everyone else who perhaps I don't know, but may get to know in the future. So thank you for joining. So yeah, Cindy, don't you love universal synchronicities? So on this day of our talk about shifting into the eye of the storm and weathering chaos, I received an email from the Daily Om website. So I normally receive a daily inspirational message each day. And today's message is titled, "The Sun is Always Shining," and goes on to say, if darkness has fallen, know that the sun is shining at this very moment, somewhere not too far away. And the sun always reminds us that our shining truth is never extinguished, and that our light shines within us at all times, no matter what else occurs around us. So I thought that was quite potent, and I just wanted to share that with you. So in this masterclass this evening, we're going to explore how to place ourselves in the peaceful yet powerful eye of the storm from 3 different perspectives. So I'm going to go into the psychological, healing, and spirituality, just to give you a nice rounded stage to work from. So as with any knowledge of this nature, use your own discernment to choose what is useful to your own personal worldview, and then leave aside that which doesn't resonate with you. At the end of the talk, I'm going to recap the relevant information so that you have a chance to take what you want and utilize it for yourself. But to begin with, let's go into a meditation so that we can bring ourselves into the space, tune into our hearts, and enjoy the talk without all of the chaos that normally goes around us. So if you want to sit with your feet flat on the floor, Place your hands in your laps. Allow your shoulders to relax back and down. And then just gently close your eyes. So I invite you to close your eyes and just follow my voice. So begin by breathing in pure white light. So on your in-breath, just breathe in white light and allow it to fill your lungs and expand out through your physical body. So just breathe in white light. And as you breathe in that white light, you'll notice that your shoulders are relaxing, your body's relaxing into your chair, and your mind is settling. And now breathe in gold light. So on every in-breath, allow gold light to fill your lungs, and then expand that gold light till you're surrounded in a beautiful bubble of gold. And think of this bubble as being protective and keeping you safe and secure. So just breathe in gold and expand that gold light into your bubble. And now breathe in green healing light. So just breathe in a beautiful spring green healing color. Allow it to fill your lungs and spread out into your body. And as you breathe in healing green, send it to any part of your body that could benefit from some healing. So you might send it to the stress that's sitting in your shoulders or in your neck, perhaps to creaky knees or sore hips. Just allow that spring green healing light to travel to your body where it's needed. And then breathe in a violet light. So beautiful iridescent violet light that fills your lungs, fills your body, and fills your energy field that surrounds you. Beautiful cleansing violet light. And lastly, as you breathe in, breathing a sense of joy. And as you breathe out any negativity out and down into the earth. So breathe in joy and breathe negativity out and down into the earth. And just continue breathing in joy for a few moments. And now take your attention to your physical feet, flat on the floor. You can wiggle your fingers, move your toes. And when you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Good. So just a quick exercise to bring us into the here and now, into this healing space. So throughout tonight, I'm going to be highlighting resilience and the actual building of resilience for yourself, because it's resilience that holds you in the eye of the storm and helps you to settle yourself, and center away from the chaos. So let's begin with the building of psychological resilience. So I'll talk about psychological resilience and then go on to more spiritual and healing aspects of resilience. So let me talk about the role of resilience in times of crisis. You can ask yourself, why are some people better able to cope in these troubling times than others? So while everyone's situation is different, it's true that people with resilience tend to have a higher tolerance for the emotional distress generated by hard times. So the more resilient you are, the better able you are to tolerate feelings of stress. You can tolerate anxiety, sadness that accompanies trauma and adversity, and perhaps find a way to rebound quickly from setbacks. So that's one very particular aspect of resilience. You can rebound back quickly from any setbacks. So we all go through bad times, and we all experience disappointment, loss, change. We all feel sad, anxious, and even stressed at various times in our lives. But building resilience can help you to maintain a positive outlook, face an uncertain future with less fear, and even get through the darkest of days. So while it's difficult to imagine anything good coming out of traumatic experiences, building resilience can help you to find any positives in the difficulties you've faced. Surviving hardships can teach you important things about yourself and the world around you. It can strengthen your resolve, deepen your empathy toward yourself and others, and in time, enable you to evolve and grow as a human being. So let's look at what building resilience, how do you build resilience from a psychological and an emotional perspective. So the first thing you can do is try practicing acceptance of what's happening. So normally we go into denial. You might feel like you want to hide your head in the sand and just ignore what's happening around you. But the quicker you can get to acceptance, the quicker you can start dealing with positive ways of dealing with any issues. So acceptance is a good key when you're working with resilience. Then you might want to focus on things within your control. So there's lots of things in the world that we have absolutely no control about, but you can control your reactions and responses to things. So then you can decide what small steps can I take towards a positive response instead of perhaps a negative reaction. Okay, the other thing that we do in times of crisis is withdraw within ourselves and shut ourselves off from the world. So you might consider rather reaching out to others. So who could possibly lift you up? Who could assist you in times of trouble? And then on the other hand, try and avoid negative people. So it's not always easy to do, but the easier you can avoid negative people, the more you can strengthen your resolve. Next, invest in self-care. So this is pretty obvious, but the three main points of focus are to eat as well as possible. So generally that goes out the window when we're really stressed. Maximize your sleep potential and exercise in any shape or form regularly. So normally when you get very busy at work, you start running around like a chicken with your head cut off, and you put aside any exercise and any way of using mind-body techniques to lift you up. But that's the time when you really need things like yoga or Pilates, meditation, mindfulness, or breath work. And I'm going to talk a little bit about breath work and mindfulness as we go along. Then you might look for meaning and purpose in your life. So remember that you are not your crisis, and try and keep your problems in perspective. And then another thing is, while it's counterintuitive, giving to others or volunteering when you are in a very stressful situation can take you beyond your personal problems, as can a focus on personal interests or hobbies. Then lastly, stay motivated as best you can. And let me give you a couple of ideas on how you can stay motivated. So one is to express gratitude. I like to talk or think about gratitude as an attitude of power. So gratitude is an attitude of power. If you can tune into some small aspect of gratitude daily, then it really lifts your energy and lifts your vibrations. And I'll come back to that because that's quite an important point. Then be kind to yourself. Okay? Deal with things one small step at a time. Celebrate small wins to help you to stay motivated. And lastly, try to maintain a hopeful outlook. So those are all things that we sort of know about, and it's kind of common sense, but they're definitely things that drop away when we are caught up in the chaos. And when we start practicing these, they can bring you into that eye of the storm, into that calm, still center. Okay, so that's enough of the psychological perspectives. Let's move on to sort of deeper aspects of spirituality and healing. So although I'm not an astrologer, the School of Intuition has a really fabulous astrology department run by Marguerite Celeste. So at the moment, we are in Pisces season, and I've come across some lovely tips for how to act in this Pisces season. And I'm going to present them to you because there's a lot of similarities between the previous psychological and emotional resilience factors. So the first one would be embrace your intuition. And by this, we mean trust your inner guidance. Pay attention to your dreams, to synchronicities, and to subtle signs of the universe. So generally, when we are caught up in our chaos or caught up in our fears, we tend to shut down. And the universe is still trying to help us. The universe is still trying to send us positive signs, still trying to uplift our energy, but we shut ourselves off. So that is the time where it's good to embrace your intuition. Then cultivate compassion. So we spoke about practicing kindness towards yourself, and we spoke about practicing compassion for others. So practicing kindness towards yourself and empathy towards others really takes you beyond your state of chaos. Taking time to connect with the hearts of those around you and offer support to yourself and others really helps to a large degree. Then you might think of diving into your creativity. So this is a large aspect of the Pisces season. Exploring your creative expression through art, music, writing, or any form of self-expression that resonates with your soul. So we all know if we get into some beautiful writing or some drawing or painting, we all know how time stands still if you really get involved with it. All your problems are put aside for some time, and you just lose yourself into a very positive moment. Then you might think about, in Pisces season, surrendering to the flow. So that is letting go of the need to control outcomes. So there's that aspect of control again. And surrender to the natural ebb and flow of life. Trust that everything is unfolding as it should. So trust is a very powerful resilience factor. And just allow yourself to flow with the cosmic currents. Then connect with your spirituality. So you might explore spiritual practices such as meditation, yoga, or prayer. So prayer is really, really powerful. It doesn't matter what your philosophy is or what your way of being. Prayer is a very, very powerful way to connect you to the divine. And then take time to connect with your higher self and the divine presence within you. So I'm going to talk more about the higher self as we go along. Then lastly, stay grounded. So let yourself indulge in fantasies, empathize with those around you, and keep coming back to your center again and again. So I'm going to talk about centering in your heart space in a few moments. But let's move on to, so I mentioned grounded, and grounded is quite a life-changing factor once you begin working with it. So there's a gap process that's taught by the School of Intuition and Healing, and that's gap with a double P. So the G stands for grounding, the A for attunement, the P for protection, and the second P for permission. So let me unpack each of those individually as we go. And I must say that students that do the 2-year course, at the end of the course, they get to say what changed in their life and how they grew and how they developed. And often a student will say that the gap process really changed their life. Okay, so let's talk about grounding. When you're ungrounded, you can't think straight. You may feel overwhelmed, and you may have terrible time management, and possibly do things like lose your keys or keep leaving your keys where you can't find them. So the causes are manifold of being ungrounded, yet they may include overwhelming stress symptoms, negative self-talk or belief systems, negative patterning, multiple life challenges that we all have, arising from anything like financial problems to challenging relationships, etc. So all those factors can put you in a very ungrounded state. But thankfully, there's many ways to ground. So you can do some breath work, you can get into nature, walk barefoot on the seashore or on grass. You can take something like an Epsom salt bath, or use mindfulness or meditation. And I'm going to give you some different techniques around that later on. Then we move from grounding into attunement. So the A in the gap process. Attunement is about connecting to source, what we call source at the school, which is the divine, the infinite radiant is, God, goddess, however you perceive the creator of all that is. So attunement speaks of living from the heart. So the heart is known as the seat of the soul, or the seat of your higher self. And when you take a soul perspective from living in your heart, when you take a soul perspective on earthly matters, it can bring great solutions to your normal challenges. So I like to speak of following your heart in everything that you do, and you would definitely have heard of that statement. So building compassion for yourself and others helps with this. So we mentioned that earlier on. And when you work from your heart, your personality self then begins to feel supported by your soul self. So a lot of our fears and anxieties and worries swirl around within our personality self. And the school teaches that the personality self resides in your solar plexus, so below your heart center. And then your heart center, as I mentioned, is the seat of your soul or your higher self. So a daily spiritual or meditation practice takes you into your heart center. Cindy and I had a discussion recently about dealing with relationship conflicts. Now, if you can center yourself, you can bring about a powerful neutrality when you come from a heart center. And I like to call this acting like Switzerland. So it speaks to me about taking a neutral stance, which helps you to shine a light on solutions, benefiting everybody for the greatest good of all concerned. So it's almost like, let's say, let me give you an example. Let's say you're caught up in a conflict situation and you're having an argument with your spouse or a teenager or someone that's close to you. So you're having this argument, and then suddenly you remember, hold on, what if I come from my heart center right now? And then you take your attention to your heart center, get a sense of just tuning into your heart center and opening up your heart. And then what might happen is you pause yourself in the middle of the argument, and then you can say to yourself something like, this person that I'm having the argument with means so much more to me than me just being right. So I'm going to open up my heart, and I'm either going to say to the person, look, let's talk about this when we're in a less heated situation, or let's talk about this tomorrow, or this is inappropriate, we'll talk about this at another time. But suddenly you bring a solution from coming into that heart center. Good. Then we move on to the first P in the gap process, and that is talking about protection. So essentially, you are protecting yourself from any negativity that might prevent your resilience. So any negativity that might draw you out of the eye of the storm and back into chaos. So one simple protection method is to visualize yourself in a bright bubble of white light, much like we surrounded ourselves in a bubble of gold light in our opening meditation. Or you might call upon your higher self or angels or guides to assist you. And I'll talk about angels as we go. Or taking your attention directly to your heart center works very well for a sense of protection. Then lastly, we'll move on to permission, the double P in the gap process. So Cindy recently pointed out that this second aspect of the gap process strongly highlights boundaries. So often students come to the school and their boundaries are very thin or non-existent. You might see them as a doormat where certain people could just walk over them. But gradually they learn to put up appropriate boundaries and say, hold on, how am I going to allow people to treat me? So you can think about whom in your life you give permission to treat you in a certain manner. And you can actually change that. So if someone is treating you in a positive manner, perfect, allow that to be. If someone is treating you in a negative manner, then you need to put boundaries in place so that you deal with it appropriately. And then when it comes to healing, for instance, when a healer carries out healing, the client is first asked for permission for the healing to take place. You ask the client's higher self, is it appropriate to bring healing for this particular point in time? Because maybe the client's going through a particular lesson that they need to learn first. And then you ask for permission for appropriate touch. So as a healer, is it okay for me to touch you on the shoulders, possibly your hips and your feet? And that's where permission comes in. Good, so that is the life-changing gap process. So let me move on to, let me bring together attunement, living from your heart, and thriving in the eye of the storm. So an author, Richard Webster, writes about how to express universal love all the time. So we're going to talk about the heart chakra in a bit more detail. And he writes about this in his book, Communicating with the Archangel Raphael. So I think Cindy might put those details into the chat for you. So here we'll talk about the state of your heart chakra. The state of your heart chakra affects every aspect of your attitude towards love. So you can have a heart chakra that is closed down through trauma, tricky life experiences, relationship issues, divorce issues, and things like that. Or you may already be practicing perhaps Buddhism or Christianity or some sort of philosophy where your heart is wide open with compassion. So you can have various different states in your heart chakra. Incidentally, when I'm talking about chakras, just for those that maybe are not so familiar with chakras, chakras are wheels or vortexes of energy situated within your subtle energy body. So think of, so we're all energetic beings, and we have a subtle energy field within our physical body. So we have various different subtle bodies, but the etheric body, where the chakras are contained, are within the center of your physical body. There's 7 main energy centers, and they're effectively situated up the central channel of your body. And then there's various other chakras. So different schools of thought will teach you about different chakras, but it's a fascinating subject and very in-depth. So I'm just going to focus on the heart chakra for now. So when your heart chakra is balanced, you'll be able to give and receive love easily and readily. When people meet you for the first time, they will be subliminally aware that you are a caring, loving, concerned person who has everybody's well-being at heart. So we are energetic beings. We literally radiate out the state of our energy. So when you've been working with your heart for some time, you literally radiate compassion, love, light, and possibly joy. So when you are in this state, you will naturally attract other people to you. And you yourself will find yourself being more poised, confident, calm, and sure of yourself. So this is where tuning into your soul self really comes into play. You will love yourself and have more self-esteem. You will possibly love others and you'll love life. Now, this is where resilience comes in again. Small things will not bother or upset you. So it's like you will easily be able to deal with the smaller things in life. You will be able to focus on what's important in your life and ignore or dismiss petty small aspects that hold you back from living your true self. And then lastly, another beneficial side effect, this is a really good one, is that a well-balanced heart chakra makes you appear more attractive to others. So if you are wanting to meet the soulmate of your life, if you want to meet the true person that you want to spend your time with, it's really good to work on your heart chakra, because once you open up your heart yourself, you will create a higher vibration that will attract the appropriate person to you. Okay? And bear in mind that there's a lot of fish in the sea. I think there's something like 6 billion people on this planet at the moment. So there's definitely going to be a couple of people that will be drawn to your open heart. So let's talk about communicating with the Archangel Raphael. Okay, so assistance with building resilience, assistance with shifting into the eye of the storm can come from your higher soul self, guides, or angels. But particularly, Archangel Raphael is a wonderful energetic being to call on. So one theory in the universe is that you have to ask. So because we have free will, you have to ask, and in the asking, you can know that answers will be forthcoming to you. And when you ask your higher self, or perhaps Raphael, or your guides for assistance, then know that the answers will come in dreams, possibly something that you read, might come through a podcast, through music, or even a conversation that someone has with you. So talking about Raphael, the meaning of Raphael, the name, is God heals, and he plays many helpful roles in smoothing the way for daily living. So this can include your healing development, your spiritual development, learning and teaching. So any aspect of learning and teaching, if you want a clearer mindset, more focus, better retention of memory, you can call on Raphael. Creativity. So I'm having a fabulous time with Raphael at the moment with creativity. So writing, developing courses, doing some photography, it's really, really good. Abundance. So if you need to get through the end of the month, please call on Raphael. Love. So working with the heart tunes you into love. Raphael can help you in a really big way with that. It's really nice to get a sense of, let's say you are feeling overwhelmed, you feel like there's no love in your life, and you're feeling really down. You can literally sit down, close your eyes, call on Raphael, visualize him coming up behind you and wrapping his wings around you. And just sit in that sense of being held and wrapped in his wings. And that can be really soothing. Then communication. So he helps a lot with communication. Communication has a lot to do with your throat chakra. Then wholeness, so restoring your wholeness with balance and unity. Dealing with addictions. So a very good aspect of dealing with addictions. Travel. So if you're going to travel and it's sort of beyond the borders of what you normally do, you can call on Raphael to give you assistance and ease your travels. And then lastly, recovering lost or stolen items. So if you're really ungrounded and you keep losing your keys, you can do two things. Get yourself grounded and call upon Raphael to help you until you get grounded. Okay, good. Let's move on to a second meditation. And this is a meditation where we will work with Raphael. But not only that, we're going to work with a challenging relationship in your life. So I'd like you to take a moment and just bring to mind a challenging person. Okay. Now you might have a dozen challenging people in your life, but just choose one that you want to work with right now. Maybe the one that is really getting up your nose. So bring that person to mind. And then, just incidentally, this meditation that I'm going to take you through, it's a modern version of a ritual devised by an Indian Buddhist reformer, writer, and teacher. His name was Atisa, and he was born in 982 AD. So just a little bit of possibly useless information for you. I thought that was quite interesting. Right, let's begin our meditation. So if you will settle yourself once again into your chair, have your feet flat on the floor to give you a nice sense of grounding. And then place your palms downwards in your lap, because this helps you with grounding. It's called a hand mudra or hand position. Gently close your eyes. Take your attention to your breath, where it enters and exits your nostrils. As you breathe in and breathe out, just relax your body and feel your mind settling down. Now imagine you are sitting in a chair in a warm and cozy room. You're feeling safe and secure. with a positive expectation. Facing you is another chair. And as you look in this direction, you notice the Archangel Raphael sitting there smiling at you. Take a moment to notice how he appears to you in this moment, and just accept whatever you see. And now, inhaling deeply, absorb Raphael's energy as you do so. So breathe in the energy of this beautiful archangel. Visualize Raphael's love swirling within your heart center. Tune into this love deeply for a moment. And now visualize yourself sending love back to Raphael. So open up your heart and send loving energy back to Raphael. As you do this for a moment, become aware of what is going on inside your body and take note of any thoughts that may occur to you. So just keep visualizing, sending love to Raphael, and see what comes up for you. In your imagination, Raphael now stands up and moves over to your right-hand side. In your mind's eye, see your challenging person taking a seat in the chair in front of you. Picture that challenging person as clearly as you can. Now, breathing in, allow that person's heart energy to swell into your heart center, knowing that your compassionate heart can contain this with ease and grace. So allow your challenging person's heart energy to swirl into your heart chakra. Just absorb this for a moment. And now send love back to that challenging person from your heart. So open up your heart as best you can and just radiate love to that other person. As you do so, become aware of what's going on inside your body and any thoughts that may arise at this moment. Keep the flow of love going and see what arises for you. And now thank Raphael for his support and love. And as you do so, see the challenging person slowly fade away before your eyes. And then surround your heart center or your heart chakra with a beautiful bubble of light. So surround your heart center with a bubble of light and fill it with any color that comes to mind. Any color that you intuit in this moment. And now begin to make your way back to waking consciousness. So feel your physical feet flat on the floor. You can move your fingers, move your toes. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So we'll just give everyone a moment to come back. And then, Cindy, I thought we might ask everyone to pop into the chat any information that came up for them. You know, so did anything pertinent come up for you during this meditation? And please feel free to pop it into the chat. Let's just see what comes up. Anyone have anything pertinent that they want to bring up? So Juliet says, I went into a dream. So yeah, that can definitely happen in a meditative state. Some people fall asleep, which is very therapeutic. Lisa, I got the message, we are all one in love. Yes, beautiful philosophy to live by. We are all one. So that's kind of the highest spiritual vibration that you want to tend towards. Naomi, that was so beautiful, felt really connected to my soul energy with Raphael. And when the person felt a lot of fear, I felt a lot of fear from the person, but then when sent energy back to my soul, my heart got lighter with energy. Okay, excellent. So sending brought the fear factor down. Okay, Nelu, I felt lighter. That's again, no problem, Naomi. Good, so yeah, so everyone had some sort of experience. Richard, when sending love to this person, I was worried I would run out of love and was reluctant to open up. Beautiful energy from Raphael. Yes, Richard, I realized I was asking a lot for you to suddenly be able to send compassion and love to a person. But practice makes perfect. So even if you need to revisit this exercise a dozen times, hopefully at some stage you'll get some relief. And then Cindy felt distracted at first, then felt an expansion when they sent me love and was also able to receive. Okay, awesome. So let's move on. Oh, Roween, you're here as well. Hi there. So Roween says, this was beautiful. Thank you. Huge expansion shared. Okay, thank you very much for sharing. So now we can move on. And I want to talk about, just very briefly, but let's talk about the power of intention. Okay, so intention is a very powerful spiritual tool, and I'm going to give you some ideas why. So in her book, The Universe Has Your Back, Gabrielle Bernstein states the following: remember that your intentions create your reality, and energy goes where your attention flows. So I normally like to talk about this as energy follows thought. So this means that what you think about repeatedly and with strong emotion will be that which occurs in your reality. So you need the two to go together: repeated thoughts and strong emotions. Pardon you. Therefore, it's really beneficial to take your attention off of what you don't want in your life and place the bulk of your attention on that which you love. So let me repeat that. It's really beneficial to take your attention off of what you don't want in your life, or minimize your attention on what you don't want, and place the bulk of your attention on that which you love. And that's the way that you build a future that resonates with you very well. So talking about Gabrielle Bernstein, she also focuses on A Course in Miracles that was taught by Marianne Williamson for many years. And she also, Gabrielle Bernstein, also talks a lot about the law of attraction teachings. So these days, we've all heard about the law of attraction from the movie and from various books. But the law of attraction teachings were channeled by a lady called Esther Hicks. And the entity what was challenged is called Abraham. So we're talking about the wisdom of Abraham when we talk about the law of attraction teachings. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because in the law of attraction, Abraham talks about an emotional guidance scale that pertains to resilience. So I'm just going to introduce you to the scale. And then what I'm going to do is, after this chat, I'm going to send the scale to Cindy and Josh at the school, as well as the recap of everything at the end. And then you'll actually be able to refer back to it yourself. So if for now, if you just imagine a scale going from 1 to 22, where 1 is the top of the scale as opposed to positive vibration. And at the top of the scale, we have the emotions of joy, appreciation, gratitude, empowerment, freedom, and love. And then you go all the way down to the bottom of the scale, which talks about fear, grief, desperation, despair, and powerlessness. So the reason why this scale talks about resilience is that, let's say you are feeling at number 22. So you're feeling really powerless at the moment and you are in despair. If you can start tending towards feeling angry, for example, okay, so anger gets a bad rap, but anger can be very powerful and transforming. If you can lift yourself out of a sense of powerless and start getting angry, then you are shifting up this emotional scale. And let me just see, you are going up 6 different levels up the emotional scale, from feeling powerless to anger. And then once you feel that anger, now you are no longer, say, depressed, and you can start taking action and making changes and making something happen. So it's a matter of shifting up the emotional scale in vibration. And then as you grow in resilience, you start to easily tap into joy, or easily tap into gratitude, or easily tap into divine love. And that's what we're talking about tonight. So I'll send that scale through to you and you can just have a look at it for interest. So talking about resonating on the love-joy spectrum, and I see that we are getting quite far with our time here. I'm going to do a recap on everything that was spoken about tonight. And this is the list that I mentioned I will send through so that you can have a look at it. So the first thing to think about is shifting up the emotional guidance scale. Then you can think about practicing an attitude of gratitude. I met a couple, it was actually one of the students on the course, her and her partner. They kept a jar whereby they wrote down on little pieces of paper things that they were really grateful for over time. So when they were in a really good space, I'm really grateful for you in my life, or whatever it was, folded up a little piece of paper and then pop it into the jar. And then on days where either one of the partners needed a boost, they could go to the jar, shake it up, take out a piece of paper, open it up, and there is something to be grateful for. And that actually, what you write down actually has a vibration. So just by reading about that gratitude state will raise you up to a degree. Then reach out for assistance to someone you could trust. We mentioned that before under these psychological resilience factors. Ask for assistance from the universe in the form of your higher self, guides, or angels. And one thing I wanted to just briefly say here is in your asking, turn it into a positive affirmation. So let's go back to, you need to get through to the end of the month, okay? And you're going to call on Raphael to assist you with abundance. So instead of saying, Raphael, please help me to get through to the end of the month, I'm desperate and I just don't know how I'm going to do it. Okay, so coming from a sense of desperation makes it so much harder for the universe to assist you. So what you want to do is turn it into an affirmation as if it's already come true. So you can say to Raphael, Raphael, thank you so much for bringing abundance into my life. You know that I need X amount of funds to get through to the end of the month. So I'm thanking you right now for assisting me to receive those funds or even more. So you literally just turn it around psychologically and energetically. Then we spoke about practicing acceptance of what is. So remember, what you resist persists. So whatever you resist keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, creating patterns. But if you can come to acceptance, you can affect changes. Now, remember, I'm speaking about big life issues here. So I'm not talking about changing all of these things overnight. I'm talking about small steps at a time as you go along. So talking about small steps, focus on what you can control. So taking small steps towards creating the outcomes that you want. There's a Japanese concept called Kaizen, and it's all about taking daily small steps of improvement, building up to a wonderful whole. Okay, then think about getting grounded. That's very important. De-stress via mind-body connection modalities. So get to yoga, Pilates, dance, Tai Chi, Qigong. Choose one of those aspects, even if you go once a week. Practice compassion towards yourself and others. That speaks about getting into the heart. It's life-changing. Put effort into getting your basics right regarding eating, sleeping, and exercising. And get help if you need. So go see a therapist, go see a life coach, go see an exercise therapist. Then look for and create meaning and purpose in your life. Okay. Maybe you'll think about doing a course at the school. There you go, meaning and purpose. Practice witnessing or observing situations. So that's kind of a mindfulness perspective, pretty much like we did in our meditations earlier on. And when you choose to observe or witness things going on in your life, when you slow down and come to center, it gives you the option of choosing your response to situations instead of reacting negatively. And then lastly, putting it all together and practice resilience. So all of the previous factors will help you to practice resilience. Good. So that is everything that I wanted to talk about. Cindy, do we have time for a final meditation, or would you like to go into Q&As or something else? Yeah, just unmute yourself.
I'm up for another meditation. I'm not sure how everyone else feels, but I think at this stage you've shared a lot, Dennis. I'd love just us to continue in this beautiful heart space. That feels right for now. I'm getting nods from Naomi and Lisa and Richard and Candace. So I'm getting a heads up on that sense.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm really glad because I want to take you into a healing meditation. And I think it'll be a nice sort of wrapping up from my side. Okay, excellent. So final visualization. And this is a mindfulness healing practice, something that you can do anytime. And because you'll receive the recording, you can definitely go and revisit it should you enjoy it. Okay, so before we begin, think of one physical ache or pain or strain that you'd like to bring some healing to. Alternatively, think of an emotional pain point, such as anger or fear or resentment. So just choose one aspect that comes up for you. And for now, please avoid a very traumatic situation, just for the purposes of this exercise, because obviously you don't have a trained healer with you. So choose something that you can easily deal with. Good. Sit yourself in a nice, comfortable position, feet flat on the floor, and your hands in your lap. Allow your shoulders to sink back and down. We carry a lot of tension in our shoulders. So just allow your shoulders to sink back and down. And take your attention to your breath, where it enters and exits your nostrils. Just feel the flow of air as it flows in your nose and out of your nose. Notice yourself observing your breath. So allow your breath to move in and out of your nostrils. And tune into your awareness of your breathing. As you do so, you might notice your body relaxing and your mind coming to a stillness. And now take your attention to that pain point that you chose earlier on, and begin to breathe in and through that pain point. To take your breath into that point of pain and hold your attention on this particular point. Now, as you breathe and hold your attention on this pain point, you want to have the intention of compassion and tenderness. So think of when you are holding a baby in your arms. You want to energetically hold your pain point with compassion and tenderness, opening up your heart to it. So hold your attention on your pain point without judgment, and allow any feelings or responses to arise naturally. So perhaps a feeling comes up for you, or a memory, or a release of energy. Just allow your pain the space to be for a few moments as you continue breathing into this area. What comes up for you right now, if anything? If your mind wanders, just bring your attention back to your point of pain and breathe. So just for a few moments more, Hold your pain in the light of your awareness with compassion and tenderness. And lastly, fill your pain point with golden healing light, the light of the divine shining in your own heart center. So just see, feel, know, experience your pain being held in a beautiful golden healing light. As we begin to slowly return to waking consciousness, get a sense of your physical feet flat on the floor, grounding you into them. Focus once again on that beautiful bubble of light surrounding you and protecting you. And get a sense of your beautiful, wide open heart chakra. Take your attention to your sit bones, making contact in your chin. Focus on the tip of your nose. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Wow, Dennis, that was really beautiful, really some deep healing. I'm not sure if everyone felt that, but deep healing. So thank you for that beautiful, compassionate voice of yours, Dennis, and taking us through. So just quickly, not quickly, we don't have to hurry. Are there any questions? I see Megan shared something that's really nice, which is Warriors like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it gets you nowhere, Glenton. I really like that. But does anyone have any questions for Dennis or anything that came up in the meditation? Those of you, don't be shy to type any questions in the chat box, should you have any for Dennis. I see a couple of people typing. Oh, everybody's good. Thank you, Dennis, for the beautiful healing. Yes, I agree. That lovely, compassionate voice. So if there are no questions, those of you who we are going to see, there are a couple of people that are here that are doing day 18, the final day of the healing course, on our online healing course. I can't believe we've got to day 18, so I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Saturday. I'm facilitating that, so I'm very excited. People from London who are in the who are doing the London in person. Saleh is looking forward to seeing you. For those of you that are new to the school, and I'm happy for those who aren't new to the school, we've got a couple of workshops coming up that I really would suggest that you take. And I'm going to do my sales thing that I'm really not the best at, but I promise I'm going to do it. So let me just get this doing the right thing. Oh, look at all those things on my screen. 1 second for me, and we're going to slide one, share, and we're going to go from the current slide. So we've got Dennis is teaching the energy management workshop, and that's going to be on Saturday, the 16th of March. If you book by Friday tomorrow midnight, discount of 250.
It's funny, it looks like Cindy is breaking up in her communication there.
And so I'm sure you can all read the slide. Please, these are all by midnight tomorrow if you would like to take us up on those specials. But those courses really are for people who are coming into the school, they're entry-level courses. You've heard Dennis' voice. He is a wealth of wisdom. He has this heart when I'm stressed and everyone's irritating me and I'm not feeling quite erect in the eye of the storm. And I have a chat with Dennis, it brings me back into my heart space. He's the calmer down in the school. He's the one who doesn't get flustered. He's the one who doesn't get into scraps. So really, really good to facilitate that energy management, that grounding, but also to talk about angels, guides, and just get people onto a track. So if you're new to it, I really suggest these courses. 101 energy management is life-changing. We bang on about it all the time. It's a really good entry level into the school. But everybody, we've got exciting things coming up this year. We've got stuff in person happening in London. We've got stuff in Cape Town. We're hoping to do some more stuff in person in the 2 big cities, but also to do quite a lot of stuff online, and also hoping to do some new things as well, sort of in the second half of the year. So this is kind of going to be a series of things. It's really nice to see you all. And we're looking forward to seeing you either online or in person very, very soon. Dennis, thank you very, very much.
Good, good. I'm feeling all the beautiful energy from everyone in the audience. So I'm feeling a little bit high at the moment. So yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for the love.
Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye.